Hello, I'm Deanna de Cabarrus from Songwriting Lessons Online. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make triads to make your chord progressions sound way more musical and anything but boring. So if you've ever written a song and found yourself playing it and wondering in the back of your mind if the chord progression was starting to sound a little bit samey, or if things were getting repetitive, this is going to be a solution. Okay, so how many chords do you think I'm playing? I'm going to play some chords and I want you to tell me how many you think I'm going to play. So how many chords do you think I played? I actually only played 2 chords, an A minor and an E minor, but I did play them in different positions. I used to think that I needed to find the magical chord progression that would make my song sound incredible, and I was a little bit invested in writing music that I thought had lots of interesting chord movement. I now know there is no such thing as the magical set of chords. There are many chord progressions that can work really, really well, and there are many that have been used hundreds or even thousands of times in pop music. The melody and the lyrics and the arrangements distinguish songs that use the same chords, but it's also how we play the chords, especially when we're playing by ourselves. So that's one of the reasons why all those songs that use the same chords, and Taylor Swift has 25 that use the same chords, don't immediately sound the same. It's also how we play the chords that can make songs that use fundamentally the same chord progressions sound different. The way that we play the chords is one reason why all the songs that use the same chord progressions don't immediately sound the same. So our perception of music has a lot to do with how much continuity and contrast we hear. So if there's too much continuity, we get bored and we stop paying attention. And if there's too much contrast, we get confused and we also stop paying attention. So if we relate this to chords, we can get bored hearing the same chords played in the same way over and over. But we can enjoy hearing those same chords played in different octaves, in different positions, or with the notes from the chords coming in a slightly different order, or being spaced differently, or being potentially on different instruments, or with different rhythms. Or any of those things will refresh how it sounds to us for 2 reasons. So one is the pitch range of the notes. We can enjoy the contrast between the sound of a chord being played low or the sound of the chord being played high. And the other is the spacing of the notes. There's going to be a change in the quality, in the way that it feels and sounds, depending whether the notes are close together, like up here, or far apart. So for those chords that I just played, how did I know where to play them? Do I need to memorize all these possible different positions for all possible chords? No. Luckily for us, there's a few shapes that we can memorize pretty easily that are going to allow us to quickly find these different chords, and I'm going to refer to them as triads for any chord and key, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So there are 3 shapes that I'm going to show you, and it's very likely you'll know at least one of them already, even if you haven't used that particular shape or related it in this way before. Okay, so imagine an open D major chord. Your finger 3 is on the D at the 3rd fret of string 2, and the other 2 fingers are on the other notes in the chords, A and F sharp. So if I move this chord up 2 frets, now my finger 3 is on E, and I'm playing an E major chord, not a D major chord. And so anywhere I move this shape, the note that finger 3 is on tells me which chord I'm playing. So move it up here, I'm on G, I play G, etc. Okay, I know that finding the notes on the fretboard can be a pain. I have an absolutely foolproof method that I've developed over 20 years teaching guitar. It is painless, it's effective, and I'll link that video at the end. Okay, so let's imagine I have 3 chords. I could play them all with this particular shape with a root note on the 2nd string. So I can play A, D, E, A. And we can do something very similar to make this minor. We change the shape a little bit, so it looks like D minor. And then we move that to wherever we want to go. The note on string 2 is the name of the chord we want to play. For ease, you'll see that the diagrams for this shape are in pink, and I'm going to call this the pink triad shape. But I may not want to play all the chords like this because the movement can be quite blocky. My ear can also soon get used to hearing the notes coming in that particular order. I might want to play different chords close to each other and not have to move up and down the fretboard. So I'm going to need some other shapes. Here is a triad with a root on string 1. If you've ever played bar chords and you know bar chords, specifically the bar chord shape with a root on the 6th string, which is sometimes referred to as an E-shaped bar chord, you'll see that this shape is the same as that if we would only be playing the 3 strings closest to the floor. So if you don't yet play bar chords, don't worry. This is our second triad shape and the root is on string 1, so its root is on the floor string. If you imagine an open E chord on string 3, 2, 1, the frets would be 1, 0, 0. Let's say I move that up 3 frets. Now the frets would be 4, 3, 3. The note on string 1 is now a G, and this is a G triad. I'm going to call this the blue shape. How would I play a C with this triad shape? Just need to find C on string 1 and make the same shape. And now if I play open C and this C, what we get is the same chord but a variation in the sound. So this is a good way to check you're in the right place. If I play open D and D at the 10th fret, I can hear the sound is refreshed, but it's the same basic chord. It's not something completely different like this. We'd hear much more contrast if we were on a different chord. If we only had that first pink shape that I played and wanted to play a D to A progression, a 1 to 5 in the key of D, pretty common chord movement, I would have had to have moved all the way from here to here. But now I've got this other shape, I can play a D at the 10th fret with my blue shape and an A at the 10th fret with the pink shape. And that is a different effect to moving up and down. Oops. To play the minor chords, I'm just going to adjust the shape like this, but the root note is still on string 1. Now I know you might be starting to think this feels like a lot to absorb and remember, but I'm going to show you the quickest way to get used to this at the end. I promise you it won't take you that long to be able to start using them. So the last shape has a root on string 3 and it looks like this. I'm going to designate it green. Those of you that play bar chords might recognize it as the 3 floor strings of a 5th string root bar chord, sometimes referred to as an A-shaped bar chord. It's similar to half of an A major open chord. If you look at that, if my finger would be there. We'll use finger 3, 4 and 1 to play it. Finger 3 on the 3rd string. That's the note that tells us which chord we're playing. So if we're playing it with finger 3 on the 7th fret of the 3rd string, that note is D and it's a D chord. If I move that up 2 frets, now it's an E chord. For the minor version, we just change it to 3, 2, 1, like this. So that's all the shapes. If I want to play a C, G, D chord progression, I can play a blue C at the 8th fret, a pink G, and a green D, and they'll be pretty close to one another. It'll be quite a smooth effect. Okay, got one more very cool thing to show you before I go over the quickest way to actually memorize these and be able to find them quickly. If I take a simple D, C, G chord progression, I can start high and move down a little bit each time I play it. D, C, G, D, C, G. Our ear will latch onto the highest note we can hear, and that downward movement is creating a descending melody line. So that's adding a musical layer to what's happening. It can really help refresh the way an audience is experiencing a chord progression. We're hearing chords plus a new melody, and you can also do this the other way around. You can start lower and you can get higher. Okay, get a fretboard diagram if you need a little bit of backup with note names. Start with the major shapes. Write a row of notes at random. Set a timer for 4 to 5 minutes. Let's say that I wrote C, D, G, A. Take one shape at a time and find the chords with that one shape. So for the pink shape, C would be 3rd fret, D would be 13th fret, D would be 3rd fret, G would be 8th fret, A would be 10th fret. You can always check you're in the right place by playing the relevant open chord and making sure it sounds similar enough. So this will mean that you're moving up and down the fretboard every time you play a different chord. Now, once you've done this for each colour shape, so that was an example for pink, you would do this for perhaps on different days for blue and green. You're going to change the task, and with your same set of chords, let's say 4 chords, you're going to find them in one region of the neck. And this will require you to use the different shapes. So I could stay around the 8th to 10th fret by playing a blue C, a blue D, a green G, and a pink A. I could stay around the 5th to 8th fret by playing a blue C, a green D, a pink G, and a blue A. I could stay around the 10th to 12th fret by playing a pink C, a blue D, a green G, and a green A. Ooh, run out of space. So once you've got the hang of the shapes, challenge yourself to start at one end of the fretboard and move up or down so that you get that melodic top string movement happening. It will give your arrangements a great sound. You'll enjoy playing, you'll enjoy listening. It's really nice for instrumental sections, even with simple chord progressions. The effect is fun. So quick recap, to know which fret to go to, according to root note, we just need to remember which shape has its root note on which string. So are we looking for the note on the 2nd string or the 1st string or the 3rd string? You can also use triads for writing cool melodic lines or little fun riffs. You don't need to add many notes to play these really nice little melodic lines easily. So now your chords are cooking, what about getting some new songs on the go? I have a free e-guide called 10 Creative Techniques to Start Writing Songs Faster for some fun, quick idea generating activities, even if you've got nothing on the go at the moment. You don't need to have any ideas and you don't need to have a plan. Just you can download it and start doing the activities and get some new ideas on the go. So go and grab that. I'm Deanna DeCabarrus from Songwriting Lessons Online. Thank you very much. Please do like, share, subscribe, comment, and ask me any of your songwriting questions.